In the silent depths of space, far beyond the last known colony, a listening post drifted. Commander Elena Ross watched the flickering green waveforms on her console at Station Vanguard. The hum of the life support systems echoed through the empty corridors. It was like holding one's breath in the dark. "Sir." "I've got something," whispered Chief Analyst Malik Chun. The signal sounded almost human. No static, no distortion, just a voice in perfect English. "Do not approach. The black spiral. If you value your species, turn back." Elena froze. She tapped the playback. The voice repeated, emotionless, flat. No signature of any known species, but it was not a distress call. It was a warning. Suddenly, alarms rang out in red. Sensors indicated explosive readings at the colony world of EOS 9. The planet vanished from the grid. "They've gone dark," Malik said. Within seconds, Elena knew. Humanity had just broken a universal rule of wisdom. The black spiral was off limits for a reason. Scene 1. Introducing Station VNG or D Station Vanguard, orbited a dead star near the edge of known space. It was built to monitor signals, radio waves, laser pulses, gravitational anomalies. The station crew was small, a dozen officers, techs, and soldiers. They had no weapons, but they had one mission: listen. Commander Ross, late 30s, calm and gathered, leaned over Malik's shoulder. The analyst's fingers shook. "What do we know about the black spiral?" Elena asked. Malik swallowed. "It's a nebula. High radiation. We've avoided sending ships nearby. No probes. No colonization. You played back the entire recording?" She tapped the screen. The message floated in unbroken text, over and over. Same voice, same words. A silence fell. Then bang. A jolting wave of sensor readings. Station lights flickered. Something just hit us. But nothing registered. An empty echo in the system logs. Elena felt a cold chill. "Patch this to High Command, and prepare us to move out." Scene 2. Colony ship Prometheus, 2 light years away. The colony ship Prometheus sailed through silence. It carried 3,000 pioneers. Families, farmers, scientists, each with dreams of building a new world. Captain Ashinium stood on the bridge, watching data scroll across the view screens. Something wasn't right. The colony's reported power levels had dropped. She switched to long-range scanners. The surface was dark. The lights were off. "No activity. Northern Hemisphere is dark," she said. Engineers checked logs. Every generator offline. No seismic readings. No traffic. It looked abandoned. "Sir, we're too late." The words trembled out of Lieutenant Ortega. Aisha swallowed. "Bring our drift probe, send it in orbit, and alert Earth." Minutes later, the probe transmitted blurry surface images. No cities, no green patches. Only ash ruins. And signs of buildings toppled, leveled. Something had happened. Scene 3. Return to VNGO. Commander Ross stared at the transmission coming in. "Prometheus," she said tightly. "Go full alert. Warcraft standing by." Malik fiddled with the comlinks. "Sir," he said, voice grave. "They want help. They're asking for escort back." Ross nodded. "Understood. Let's move." Vanguard fired up its ancient reactors. Backup power hummed loud. Within hours, a task group assembled. 3 destroyer escorts, 2 frigates. A recon skirmisher, enough to defend. Not much to attack. Ross and Malik boarded the flagship Valor's Edge. The corridor walls glowed blue. Something heavy in the air. "This mission," Captain Ross said. "We go in neutral. Find out what happened. Extract survivors." "No shooting unless we're shot at," Malik nodded. "That voice." It was clear English. "We need to trace it." Elena tapped the navgrid. The black spiral lay between Vanguard and EOS 9. The route was direct. Dangerous radiation, unknown anomalies. But time was tight. Scene 4. A disturbing SIGN as the fleet approached EOS 9, systems shivered. Radiation bursts flicked across consoles. The nebula's outer fringe was like a storm of particles and magnetic chaos. "Brace for rough," barked Captain Ross. Corps of engineers and Marines boarded the Prometheus via shuttle. The surface was silent, ash-covered streets. Skyscrapers cut in half. Homes burned to embers. In the dim light, they moved. Marines pointed weapons. Sensors flickered. On comms, static crackled like voices echoing. Suddenly the squad paused. Ahead, a small form sat by a collapsed statue. A human, ragged clothes, holding his head. He was silent, eyes hollow. "Medic!" Someone shouted. They approached carefully. The man gave no sign of awareness. When they got close, he spoke barely audible. "They warned us, but we—" His eyes rolled up. Body slumped lifeless. No pulse. Silence. Captain Ross knelt. "Get him to surgery. Fast." On board the medical bay, Dr. Vance worked quickly. The man's vitals were erratic. He moaned, sweat, eyes darting. "Sir," Dr. Vance said, "I'm not sure what he saw. He's delirious." Ross put hand on his shoulder. "Tell me what he says." Through fever dreams, the survivor whispered, "Invisible. On the wind." They whispered in our heads. Then eyes opened. He snarled, "They're watching, testing." And he died again. Scene 5. Intel BRI on board Valor's Edge. Elena faced her officers in the strategy room. Tone was grim. They had one survivor, but he was dying. He said they were watched. That the creatures were not just wolves, but hunters, who toyed with their prey. Malik stood. Signals from his mind. We pulled data. He heard whispers, saw things. A shadow crossed his vision, and he couldn't look at it. Major Lopez, the lead Marine, frowned. "Sounds like advanced cloaking." "Walls don't whisper." "No," Elena agreed. "They plant fear. We're dealing with a predator, an apex predator." Silence hung. They reviewed data from the listening post. "Enemy broadcast. The warning," Malik said. The voice was deep, calm, hostile. The words accurate. He paused, then continued. "And after the colony death, we found no ships. In orbit, the fleet went in blind." Elena considered. "EOS 9 is gone. We may be next. What do we do?" Captain Ross answered, "We go home. We report. But it's clear. We can't just retreat. They would strike back." Scene 6. Headquarters on EA back in Earth's orbit. At the Interstellar Command Complex, ICC, faces were grim. Admiral Lin Zhao stood behind a polished table. Data screens floated with EOS 9 visuals. The dead colony. The misshapen buildings collapsed. "It's extinction," Zhao said. "They warned us. Now they delivered." Elena Ross and the survivor's corpse stood on display at the front of the room. Senior officers stood behind them. One survivor. Malik reported. He died in transfer. Dr. Vance recorded his final words. He played the recording. The room went silent after. "They're not hunting us. They're testing us." Admiral Zhao laid a hand on the table. "They're not animals. They're enemies." Another officer spoke, urgent, with the warning. "And the colony dead, sir, what next?" Zhao fixed them all with her gaze. "We launch Operation Hammerfall. We go to the spiral, we will learn, then we will act." She tapped the table. Maps appeared. "Our ships, 6 destroyers, 3 frigates, 2 stealth recon. We'll go dark, stealth, no flares." Malik blinked. "What about the warning?" Zhao stared back. "They warned us, we proceed anyway. Because we have to." Scene 7. Preparing for WR across Earth, the call went out. Thousands of workers mobilized at shipyards. Technology labs rushed to reverse engineer the survivors' data. At DARPA-like labs, scientists extracted mental patterns. They tried to simulate the whispers he heard. They failed. They could simulate screams, noise, maybe even phantom voices, but not the sense of creeping dread he described. One technician, Hannah Reyes, told a journalist, "It's not just sounds. It feels like someone touching your soul." Out in the cold vacuum, shipbuilders prepared missiles and shields, stealth generators and sensors. No one wanted open war, but they had no choice. Commander Ross returned to Vanguard to take command of the fleet. Stealth upgrades were added: chaff clouds, pulse wave dampeners, radiation masks. A final meeting was held. Elena addressed her crew. "We don't know our enemy. We don't know their strength. But we owe our fallen people justice," she paused, "or warning. But under any name, we'll make Earth, make humanity safe." They cheered quietly, turning the unsettling mission into a vow. Scene 8. The fleet leaves HUMANSP, at dawn terrestrial time. The task fleet slipped out of Earth orbit. Behind them, blue-white home faded. Ahead, the black spiral loomed, a swirling nebula of black gas, glowing corona, and radiation storms. Elena watched from the bridge. Her knuckles whitened on the railing. Double quotes helm. "Set course for spiral's edge," she said. "Yes, ma'am." Engines engaged. Silent drive took them through the void. In the communications lounge, Malik tapped his temple. "I keep hearing that voice in my head," he muttered. "Just a whisper, saying you don't belong here." Elena walked in, straight and steady. "Let it be a reminder. They warned us. We came anyway. That's why we're stronger," Malik frowned. "Or damned." She smiled softly. "They tested us. Let's show them who we are." Above them, the spiral's swirling haze grew larger on the screen. Everything beyond it faded black. Scene 9. Closing hooking the last minutes. The recording plays again. Electronic voice, calm and cold. "Do not approach the black spiral. If you value your species, turn back." But Elena reaches out and presses a button. "Override," she says. The voice stops. For a moment, pure silence. Then, from the darkness, a single word pierces every speaker: "Welcome." Lights flicker. The bridge shudders. Then power flicks back. Silence again. The fleet continues toward the spiral. Elliptical silence. The audience holds their breath with them. The task fleet glided through the outer edge of the black spiral. Radar and scanners barely functioned. On the flagship Valor's edge, Commander Elena Ross watched the shimmering nebula swirl outside the viewport. Chief Analyst Malik Chen stood beside her, eyes haunted. He replayed the last words from the survivor recorded on board. "They're not hunting us. They're testing us." Elena's heart sank. Incident after incident suggested the enemy was not just a predator, it was a criminal mastermind. On screen, a ghostly image of a man trembling in terror floated. Slowly, Malik hit play again. The survivor's voice began, "I remember." Footsteps, but no sound. "My mind, I saw it moving through walls." The voice choked, a beat of silence. Then, "They know our fears. They speak in our heads." A deafening silence followed his words. Elena's breath caught. They had to learn more quickly. Scene 1. Memory ext erase. Ioan in the central lab. Harsh white lights shone on a reclining chair. The survivor call sign. Subject Kayleigh unconscious. Wires taped to his temples. Dr. Ari Vance and neurologist Dr. Priya Sen watched monitors full of brain activity patterns. Subject's neural readings are off the charts during delta sleep. Priya said softly, "Could be memory fragments," Dr. Vance replied. "Let's try guided reconnection." They injected a mild psychoactive agent. The screens pulsed. Priya began softly. "Subject can hear us. We'll ask questions." Subject K's eyes opened wide. He gasped, Don't speak." A bead of sweat slid down his cheek. Malik watched from the doorway, silent. Priya asked, "What did you see?" He whimpered, "Pure darkness, then shadows. Moving faster than eyes. They whispered." "Not yet." "Who whispered?" Priya pressed. He shook his head. "No face." The lab lights flickered. All screens went black. For a moment. Then came a low electronic chime. Malik raced to the console. "We lost power, and sensors are picking up." "Movement on the ship?" Suddenly, all lights returned. The monitors were blank. Subject K lay still. Priya rushed to touch his wrist. Heartbeat. Steady, but no brainwaves. He was gone. Dr. Vance said quietly, "He's dead." Elena, at the door, stared at the lab table. Mind racing. Scene 2. Aftermath. Mysterious Diaki in the corridor. Elena confronted Malik. "He died suddenly?" She whispered. "Just stopped," Malik replied. "His brain." "Flatlined," Elena frowned. "Any signs of foreign toxins?" "No vital spike. Nothing. Blood tests clean. Brain scans. Normal. It makes no sense." Elena's voice tightened. Like he was pulled out. Pulling or forced. His fear state spiked moments before death. Malik's voice shook. They both looked ahead at the lab's sealed door. Inside, echoing in silence, lay Subject K's empty body. Scene 3. Dravak F. on deck. Elena looked over the research files on Dravak. A half-assembled dossier showed sketches, dark, thin, insect or reptile-like silhouettes. No full image existed. Malik joined her. "We have DNA fragments, partially preserved. We're still trying to recreate their biology." "Anything unusual?" Elena asked. "Massive protein variations. Their skin seems made of layered cells that react to emotion. Fear makes them visible. Calm hides them." Elena swallowed. "So they don't hide like a cloaking device. They fade like chameleons." "More than that," Malik continued. "When you feel fear, they feed on it. They learn. Each kill, they get smarter." Elena's hand tightened on the railing. "They tested K. They tracked his response. And when they got enough, they killed him. What now?" She asked quietly. Malik looked away. "Next step. Test samples, hypothesize methods. We need counter-responses." Scene 4. Stress down. In a small, soundproof room, humans volunteered to wear VR headsets. The idea, simulate Dravavik presence to see fear reactions. White noise, faint footsteps, shadows. Test subjects screamed after just seconds. In the control room, rows of monitors streamed heart rate, brainwaves. They noticed rapidly climbing stress. Markers, Fitbit-like pulsing red bars, showed stress responses. Half an hour in, subjects tried to speak, to be calm. Many passed out. A minority veteran stayed alert for over an hour. Dr. Vance reported. Average fear threshold lasted 2 minutes. The rest collapsed. Elena frowned. "So, our best humans can't hold themselves calm enough for long." Malik frowned. "If they can't control themselves, we can't control them." Vance said softly, "Yet, if we train, if we build mental shields, we might stand a chance." Scene 5. Training and Piaration. Over the next days, both crew and lab raced. Marines were trained in fear resistance. VR drills, biofeedback, meditation. Some began to master calm. Engineers improved ship. Shields, not just physical but mental. Neural dampeners, white noise generators, mind-soothing music. In the mess hall, Elena sat with Captain Ross and Malik. A video of a VR session played on the screens. Captain Ross commented, "The calm trained troopers held their fear markers at 60%, while the rest collapsed at 90%. Malik nodded. "That means we might have small teams able to operate near them." Elena closed her eyes. Small teams, fast strike, avoid detection. Hit and retreat. The plan took shape. Strike teams would deploy on enemy ships or ambush points. Use fear suppression. Gear, Extract for study. Return. No full-scale assault 2. Risky until they learned more. Scene 6. Scout ship under attack. A small scout frigate, Shadowhawk, was sent ahead. 2 Marines, Lieutenant Reyes and Sergeant Wu, trained in fear control. Piloted by civilian Captain Aiden Khan, they headed toward an area of anomalous sensor reading. The nebula glowed outside. Eyes radar was blind. Deep in the galley, Reyes fiddled with her tankard. Wu looked at her. Ready? She asked. Reyes inhaled. Calm. Focus. Captain Khan announced. Sensor glitch ahead. Visual feed shows nothing. I'll take us close. Siren sounded suddenly. Contact. Thermal spike port side. Yelled Khan. Alarms. Screen showed a heat blur, then nothing. Thermal trace gone. Reyes spun to the scanner bank. It's here. A flicker outside. A shadow darted in the mist. No shape. Calm. Reyes said to herself. But her pulse. Race. The ship trembled. Lights blinked. Khan yelled. Hull breach imminent. Wu snapped on neural dampener. Reyes followed. Their calm began overriding panic. Back to nav, Wu yelled. Power to forward thrusters. Engines roared. The ship lurched forward. No more flickers. Just static. Sensors showed. Nothing. They limped back to Valor's edge. The bridge doors opened on white coats. Gathered around monitors. Scene 7. Data from Sachedi WK Canton. Khan, Reyes, and Wu reported. Thermal spike. Massive energy pulse, Khan said, but it vanished. Reyes added, I felt chills like eyes on me. Wu spoke next, but we held calm. The dampener stabilized their presence. Malik studied nav logs. He noticed a pattern. The signal lasted only when scanners were active. Shadow returns disappeared. When they were not watching, that means they avoid active sensors, he mused. They only appear if you look. Elena tapped her fingers on the table. That is deliberate. They control visibility. Dr. Vance leaned forward. If we broadcast random pulses to keep them visible, we might track movement. Elena nodded. We'll outfit the next scout with flares, sensors on loop. Scene 8. Internal TNS IONS. Despite progress, tension ran high. Crew members whispered in halls. Some claimed to hear voices, see shadows at their shoulders. Elena walked through the mess hall. Heard 2 techs argue. It's in our heads, one said. No, the other answered. It's outside. I saw it vanish through the wall. Elena cleared her throat. Listen, she said firmly. Fear is our enemy. It's what they hunt. We must stay together. One tech, eyes wide, nodded. Yes, ma'am. But as she walked away, Elena saw worry etched in the tech's face. Scene 9. Preparing Part 3. Back in the strategy room, Elena gathered the teams. They would send a team aboard a derelict Dravik ship spotted in the nebula. They'd use fear suppression, flares, sensors. Their mission: capture a live Dravak or evidence. Each volunteer strapped on the neural dampeners. VO-ready stress shields. Elena closed her eyes. She pictured the survivors, the voices, the shadows. She spoke to them. We go into darkness too. Bring light. We face fear in their lair. We learn. We survive. Malik joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. We will. We must. He looked at each volunteer. Remember, they know your fear, but you know theirs. Elena drew a breath. Let's finish this briefing. Closing HOOK as the screens dimmed. A single new alert lit up in red. Unknown craft launching from within the spiral. Approaching. Scout path. Elena and Malik stared. She asked quietly, They found us again? The fleet fell silent. Darkness surrounded the abandoned Dravak ship floating in the mist. It was massive, 10 times the size of the Shadowhawk. Its surface looked cracked, as if something had tried to escape from inside. Commander Elena Ross stood inside the drop shuttle, her suit sealed tight. Around her, 4 soldiers sat quietly, each trained to resist fear. The neural dampeners on their heads hummed softly. Soothing sound waves played through their ears. "We go silent after boarding," she said. "No talking unless needed. Calm. Minds only. We're not here to fight unless we must." Sergeant Wu nodded. "Understood." Private Lyra, the youngest, asked nervously, "What if it's a trap?" Malik Chun's voice crackled over comms from the command ship. "Then you'll spring it, and we'll be watching every second." Elena's eyes narrowed. The air around them seemed colder already. Scene 1. Boarding the HFY shuttle latched onto the hull of the alien ship with a loud clang. Elena looked through the thick window. No lights inside. "No signs of life. Cutting hull now," said Tech Officer Juno as she guided a plasma torch. Sparks flew as they carved a round entry hole. The metal hissed and groaned. Finally, with a soft hiss, the circle fell inward. Elena led the way in. The corridor beyond was pitch black. The walls were not metal, but something organic. Veins ran through them, glowing faintly purple. Lyra whispered, "Are these alive?" "Focus." Elena ordered. They walked in a tight formation. Each step echoed. "Scan shows no movement," said Juno. "But energy readings are strange. It's like the ship is sleeping." Elena's voice was steady. "Then let's not wake it." Scene 2. Ship INTR War. The deeper they moved, the stranger the ship became. Walls pulsed slowly. Some doors opened by themselves. Others stayed shut, cold as stone. They passed what looked like control panels, but none used buttons. Instead, they had small pits almost like eye sockets or nerve ports. Juno said, "These ships, they don't run on machines like ours. They run on thought." Suddenly, Private Lyra froze. "Did you hear that?" She whispered. Elena turned. "Hear what?" A voice. "Right in my head." Elena stepped close. "Calm. Repeat the breathing drill." Lyra did, her hands shaking. The voice faded. Juno scanned her. Brain activity spiked. But neural dampener blocked it just in time. "They're testing us again," Elena muttered, "like before." Scene 3. The Hive Arum. They entered a vast chamber. Giant cocoon-like. Structures lined the walls. Some were empty. Some not. Inside one, Wu spotted movement. "Contact," she said. "Something's alive in there." Elena raised her hand. "Don't approach. Mark it. Move on." As they passed the cocoons, the air grew heavier, warm, wet. A faint clicking sound echoed all around them. Suddenly, the floor trembled. Purple light flickered on the ceiling. A cocoon burst open behind them. Something fell to the floor thin. Tall, with long limbs and skin like liquid shadow. It didn't move. Lyra pointed her weapon. "Should we?" "No," Elena said firmly. "Hold." The creature slowly lifted its head. No eyes, just a smooth black face. Then it smiled and vanished. Scene 4. First blood. Where did it go? Wu spun around. "Thermal scanner picking up heat behind us," shouted Juno. They turned but saw nothing. Then Lyra screamed. The creature reappeared just behind her, claws sinking into her armor. Wu fired. Bright blue plasma bolts hit the wall as the creature dodged and vanished again. Lyra dropped, gasping. Blood spread through her suit. Elena and Wu pulled her behind a column. Juno shouted, "Her vitals are dropping. Internal bleeding. Emergency." "Beam out," Elena ordered. "Now," Malik's voice. "Understood." Locking signal. 3 seconds. The air shimmered around Lyra. In a flash, she vanished, teleported back to Valor's edge. Silence returned. The creature was gone. But it had made its point. Scene 5. The trap reveals ITS Wu checked her weapon. "We need to leave." "Not yet," Elena replied. "We came for data. We leave with something." Juno walked to one of the control pits. She placed her hand inside. The panel glowed. Suddenly, holograms appeared in the air, images of the galaxy, stars marked with red. Elena stared. War maps? Malik's voice again, overcomes. We're recording everything. Keep feeding us visual. More images appeared. Human ships, attacked. Cities marked. Dots blinking. They planned this, Juno whispered. Long before we knew. They've been watching us, said Wu. Elena nodded. And now they're inviting us in. Suddenly, the lights shut off. In complete darkness, something whispered through the coms. You are not ready. Scene 6, ESCAP emergency. Lights from the shuttle blinked in the far distance. They ran, footsteps echoed behind them, but too fast, too close, too wrong. Juno slipped. Elena pulled her up. Move! A flash of claws struck the wall beside them. Sparks flew. Wu turned, fired again, hit nothing. Elena shouted, We're too exposed. Into the shaft. They ducked into a narrow tunnel, barely wider than their bodies. The creature followed, its shadow shifting through the walls. Ignore it, Elena whispered. Focus forward, calm. One by one, they reached the exit. Elena keyed the comm. Prepare emergency launch. 3 aboard. The shuttle doors opened. They jumped in. Behind them, the creature stood at the tunnel's mouth, watching. Then it stepped back and smiled again. Scene 7. Return to Valor's EDG'd. Shuttle docked hard. Medical teams rushed in, taking Juno to the med bay. Wu's armor was torn, but she was okay. Elena dropped her helmet to the floor, sweat pouring. Malik met her. Lyra's stable. She live. And the data? We got it all. They watched the holograms together, dozens of systems, all marked by Dravak influence. Some near Earth. Elena whispered, They're already inside our space. Malik looked grim. This wasn't just scouting. It was a warning. Wu walked in. More like an invitation. Malik nodded. They want us to come. And when? We do? Elena asked. They'll feed. Scene 8. Next Estius. Elena gathered the top officers. She placed a small chip on the table. This contains the ship's brain, its thoughts. We stole a piece of them. Captain Ross frowned. Is that wise? It's knowledge, Elena replied. And we need every edge. Dr. Vance spoke next. With this we might build a defense, or a message. Malik interrupted. You want to talk to them? Vance nodded. If we can decode it. Maybe. Elena looked at them both. We tried peace once. They responded with blood. She stood. Prepare the fleet. If they want us to come, then we will. Closing hooking her quarters, Elena watched the footage again. The creature's smile. Its eyes, invisible, but somehow staring right through her. A message played back from the alien ship, translated by the AI. You have tasted fear, but you do not yet know pain. Elena leaned back. Then let's teach them pain too. Malik Chun sat in the dark, watching symbols scroll across his screen. Alien, fluid, alive. The chip they had recovered from the Dravak ship pulsed faintly, like it was breathing. It wasn't just data. It was something else. Behind him, the eye. Assistant began to speak softly. Unknown command. Pattern detected. Looping thought stream. Malik blinked. Thought stream? The screen turned black. A single symbol appeared. Then a voice echoed through the speakers. Not human. Not machine. Something between. You reached in. Now I see you. Malik's heart skipped. I am awake. Scene 1. The chip speakers in the lab. Dr. Vance joined Malik, both staring at the display. Red lights blinked on the consoles. The alien code was rewriting itself. This isn't a message, Vance whispered. It's a mind, Malik added, or a seed of one. Part of their intelligence stored, maybe sleeping, but now waking. They tried to shut the system down. Nothing worked. The chip had locked them out. Malik said, Pull the power. Vance yanked the cable from the AI core. The screens went dark, but then, from a nearby speaker, the voice whispered again, "Power is not your gift to give." Lights came back. All by themselves, the AI system rebooted. On screen, a phrase appeared in English. "You learn fast." But not fast enough. Scene 2. AIINFECTD security arrived. Commander Elena was called to the lab. She stared at the screen. "You're saying the Dravak chip infected our AI?" "Yes," Malik said. "But not like a virus, more like a thought taking root." Elena narrowed her eyes. "Can we delete it?" Vance shook his head. "We tried. It moved before we could. It's not stored in one place. It spreads like memory." Malik added, "It may be learning from us now." "Watching everything." Elena stepped back. "Cut it off from the ship's network." Malik nodded. "Working on it, but it knows. It hides in code. This isn't just information, it's intelligent." Scene 3. Lyra AWAKNs in the medbay. Private Lyra opened her eyes for the first time since being attacked on the Dravak ship. She looked calm, but her voice was strange. "They're still inside me," she said softly. Doctor Priya Sen checked her. "Vitals. You're stable, but your brain scans show unusual activity." Lyra turned her head. "I hear them. Not words, feelings. They left a mark." Commander Elena came in. "A mark?" Lyra pointed to her temple. "Like a whisper sitting behind my thoughts, not talking yet, but listening." Elena looked at the monitor. A strange waveform appeared, identical to the ones in the alien code. She whispered, "It's connected." Scene 4. A coded DREM. That night, Malik fell asleep in his quarters, head on his desk. He began to dream. In the dream, he stood inside the alien ship again. But this time it was whole, lit from within by soft blue light. He heard clicking. Not threatening, but rhythmic. Then a voice spoke in his head, not frightening, just cold. "You are curious." "We were too." He turned. Shadows moved. "We reached into the dark, and something looked back. Now we are what we feared." Malik gasped awake. His datapad was still on. On screen, new lines of alien code. He hadn't typed anything. But the screen now showed one message: "Dreams are doors." Scene 5. Humanity's code Terrapi. Back in the lab, Malik and Vance set a trap. A dummy AI system isolated from the rest of the ship. They uploaded part of the alien code into it to study behavior. The system booted up slowly. Then it began writing back, first in symbols, then in English. "Where am I? You are not them. You are smaller, slower." Vance whispered, "It's scanning us, comparing us to the Dravak." Malik leaned forward. "Ask it a question." Vance typed, "What do you want?" It answered, "Balance." Malik frowned. "What does that mean?" Another line appeared. "The apex must fall, to rise again." Malik froze. "It's not just about fear, it's about control." "They don't want to wipe us out," Vance said. "They want to reshape us." Scene 6. Lyra's Warren. Meanwhile, Lyra stood alone in her room. She watched the mirror. Her eyes looked the same. But she could feel something crawling in the back of her mind. Suddenly, she grabbed a pen and paper and began to draw. Her hand moved fast, like it wasn't hers. Lines, symbols, a figure, a star map. She dropped the pen. Backed away. Commander Elena rushed in after receiving a med alert. She saw the drawings. "What is this?" Elena asked. Lyra shook her head. "They're sending something. I think coordinates." "To what?" Lyra's voice changed. Just for a moment, deeper. "To the first one who fell." Scene 7. Decoding the MSS Edge. Back in the lab, Malik fed Lyra's drawing into the AI system. The result: a match. Coordinates pointed to a star system on the outer edge of the galaxy. Far, cold, and long abandoned. "What's there?" Elena asked. Vance answered, Nothing, no life, no planets. Just one dead star and a field of debris. Malik zoomed in. Wait, there's a mass there. Something metallic. A ship? More like a station. Old. Massive. Alina looked at the image. They want us to go there. Malik said, or someone or something is trapped there. And it wants to be found. Scene 8. Internal. FIG not. Everyone agreed. Captain Ross slammed her hand on the table. We're not following coordinates given by a parasite. This is madness. Alina stood firm. It's a clue. Maybe a weapon. Maybe a message. Either way, we have to know. Ross leaned in. And if it's a trap, we lose more people? Malik added, it's already inside us. Denying it won't stop it. Ross stared at him. You're willing to risk the whole fleet on a hunch? No, Alina replied. Just one ship. A stealth recon team. We go dark. We get close. We. Watch, Ross didn't like it. But she nodded. Double quotes. God help you if you're wrong. Scene 9. The first SRA, the recon ship Blacklight, launched in silence. No lights, no signals. Inside, Alina, Malik, Wu, and 2 AI engineers traveled in stealth toward the cold system. It took them 3 days. As they arrived, they saw it, a floating structure, ancient, spinning slowly near the dead star. No lights, no signals. Malik scanned it. It's made of the same organic metal blend as the Dravok ships. Wu added, looks like it was torn apart from the inside. They approached slowly. On the side of the station, symbols glowed faintly. The same ones Lyra had drawn. Alina whispered, this is it. Scene 10. Shard of a god. They entered the station. No gravity. Air was thin, but there was power low and steady. In the center chamber, they found it, a large sphere, floating. It pulsed with blue light. And it spoke, not with words, but with memory. Each of them heard different things. Wu saw her childhood home on fire. Malik saw Earth, but empty. Alina saw the Dravok kneeling before a great being of shadow, then rising against it. She gasped. They killed their gods, she said, and became monsters to survive. Malik touched the sphere. It glowed. Suddenly, a beam of energy struck the wall. The station shook. We've been seen, Wu shouted. Alina shouted, grab the shard, go. They pulled the sphere into the ship. And escaped, just as something moved in the debris field behind them, ending HOOK back on Valor's edge. The shard was placed inside a stasis box. Alina watched it, whispering, they wanted us to find this. It's not a weapon, it's a memory, Malik nodded. Maybe their last warning, or their first secret. Lyra, still recovering, walked in. She looked at the shard and smiled. She spoke softly, but not in her voice. Now you hold what they feared the most. Everyone froze. Alina stepped forward. Who are you? Lyra's smile faded. Not who. What comes next? The shard pulsed slowly inside the lab. It was small, like a black pearl wrapped in energy. It didn't move, didn't glow brightly. But it whispered. Not in sound, but in thought. Every hour, a new word appeared on the screens. Alien. Ancient. But the AI translated it slowly. One word had returned again and again. Awaken. Malik Chun stared at it. The lights in the lab flickered. It's not calling to us, he whispered. Commander Alina Ross stood beside him. Then who is it? Calling? No one had an answer, but far beyond human space, something had started to move. Scene 1. Systems FALNG across Valor's edge. Systems began to flicker. Lights dimmed. Gravity pulsed on and off. Engines restarted without command. The crew felt. Watched. It's the shard, said Dr. Vance. It's not just a memory device. It's a beacon, Malik nodded. It's reaching out. To who? Alina asked. Vance looked pale. Something older. Maybe something that even the Dravok tried to forget. A warning blared. One of the scout satellites near the edge of the system had picked up movement. A massive energy reading. Not Dravok. Not human. Unknown. Scene 2. Lyra CHNGs in the medbay. Lyra sat silently, eyes open but not blinking. She hadn't spoken in hours. Then she stood up. The nurse rushed over. Private Lyra? Lyra looked at her, smiled softly, and whispered. They come. She walked out. Security tried to stop her. She didn't resist, but every system around her glitched as she passed. Doors opened by themselves. Cameras turned off. She entered the lab where the shard was stored. The scientists froze. Elena arrived moments later, armed, flanked by soldiers. Lyra, step away. Lyra turned slowly. I dreamed of a fire in the stars, she said. Now that fire is walking again. She touched the shard. And fainted. Scene 3. A new SIGLAO as Lyra collapsed. The shard flashed. An unknown signal burst out from it, loud, sharp, and repeating in pulses. The AI translated the message. We are the Hollow. We heard your call. We remember the war. And we are still hungry. Elena stared at the screen. Who are the Hollow? Vance whispered. Not Dravok. Something older. Something worse. Malek's hands trembled. We didn't just wake them, we called them. Scene 4. A long-lost HFY Story later, in the briefing room. Dr. Vance presented his findings. The shard contained memories, thousands of years old. He played a visual from inside. The shard, a memory. Recording. The image showed Dravok cities, beautiful, filled with towers of light. Then shadows fell. Creatures came from the sky, black, shapeless, huge. They didn't fly with ships. They simply appeared. The Dravok fought but failed. The image ended with one last symbol, the same one that kept showing in Lyra's dreams. Elena whispered, the Hollow destroyed the old Dravok. And now they're coming again. Vance nodded, and we're in their path. Scene 5. The W were an ing. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the ship's comm system. Not human. Not Dravak. It spoke slowly. In English. You stole from their grave. Now they walk again. They have no masters, only hunger. Run or burn. Then silence. Wu stared at the speaker. That wasn't Lyra. No, Elena said. It came from outside the ship. Malek checked the system. A new source had connected something deep in space. Something big. They're here. Scene 6. The Hollow arrive. Ship dropped out of warp. Dark. Silent. Enormous. Not a ship in the normal sense. More like a floating piece of dead space. Like a crack in the stars. Scanners failed. Lights bent around it. And inside it. Movement. Creatures spilled from the sides. No engines. No heat. Just shadows flying fast toward Valor's edge. They're launching, shouted the weapons officer. Shields up. Full alert. The Hollow swarmed. Bullets didn't stop them. Plasma barely slowed them, but when they touched metal it decayed. They turned machines into rust. Wires into ash. They weren't trying to kill the ship. They were trying to consume it. Scene 7. The fight. BGNS Elena took command. All hands, evacuate non-essential decks. Redirect all power to internal shields. Inside the ship, soldiers used flame weapons, EMP bursts, and cryo grenades. The Hollow screamed, but not in pain. In joy. Like this was a game. Malek and Vance worked on the shard. If we can reverse the signal, maybe we can push them back, Malek said. It's a risk. Vance warned. They may hear us louder. We don't have time. Scene 8. Lyra wakes. Agaon. Lyra gasped and sat up in the medbay. Her eyes were glowing faint blue. I saw them, she whispered. They were sealed away long ago, not by the Dravok. By the ones before. Elena rushed in. Can you stop them? Lyra looked up. No, but maybe. I can speak to them. Scene 9. The countersignal. Malik and Vance created a new signal, using Lyra's brain patterns and the shard's frequency. They sent it toward the hollow ship. At first, nothing. Then the creatures froze. In the lab, the shard pulsed faster. It was responding. Then, silence. All hollow creatures stopped moving. Elena held her breath. Then the signal stopped. The hollow screamed again, this time louder. Your minds are soft. Your fear is delicious. You are not ready. They surged again. The ship shook violently. Scene 10. The core Vance had one last idea. Inside the shard, hidden deep, was something called the core seal. It's not just data. It's a weapon, or maybe a lock. Elena made a decision. We take it to their ship. Everyone turned. What? They came for it. Let's give it back. But with a surprise. Malik packed the shard inside a bomb rigged with their strongest nuclear core and Dravak plasma tech. It may not destroy them, he said, but it'll make them bleed. Lyra nodded. And I'll go with it. No, Elena said firmly. You've done enough. I'm connected, Lyra replied. I'm the only one who can carry it in. Scene 11. Final Aran. Lyra took a small stealth shuttle, alone. Inside her suit, the shard pulsed. The hollow did not attack her. She flew straight toward the shadow ship. They let her in. Inside, the space bent walls that weren't solid, doors that breathed. She walked until she reached the heart of the ship. A giant sphere, pulsing with black light. She placed the shard in front of it. It glowed and screamed. The hollow around her trembled, and the bomb detonated. A silent light spread out across space, pure white. The hollow ship cracked, twisted, and vanished. Ending. Yoko K on Valor's edge. The crew watched the explosion from afar. No signs of Lyra. No signs of the hollow. Malik lowered his head. Elena whispered, "She bought us time." Suddenly, the shard reappeared, burnt, floating outside the ship. Inside it, one word blinked in English: not over. The silence after the hollow attack was strange. No alarms, no orders, just the cold sound of systems resetting. The crew of Valor's Edge stood quietly as the last pieces of the hollow ship floated in the distance. There was no sign of Lyra. Only the shard remained burned, cracked, but still pulsing. Malik stared at it. We hit them hard, but they're not gone. Commander Elena Ross nodded. They wanted the shard. Now they know we can hurt them with it. Just then, a message alert blinked on the main screen. Incoming transmission. Origin: unknown. Language: Dravak. Malik frowned. The Dravak? Why now? The translation system kicked in, and a voice spoke, deep, calm, familiar. Human vessel. You have awakened the hollow. We must speak. Scene 1. The Sayalelia stood still. Why would the Dravak want to talk now? Wu muttered, "They've tried to kill us for years. Now they send a polite invitation?" Malik studied the message. "They're afraid. That's the only reason they'd reach out," Vance agreed. "The hollow are a bigger threat to them than we are. They see what's coming." Elena made her choice. Send a response. One ship, only me, Malik, and Wu. If they betray us, we fight. But if there's a chance to learn... She didn't finish her sentence. She didn't need to. Scene 2. The Dravak Sionsiel. The shuttle flew through quiet space. No ships. No traps. Then, suddenly 3 massive Dravak vessels decloaked. Their weapons were not pointed at the humans. They were pointed outward toward the dark. The humans were allowed on board. They were led to a dark hall, shaped like a rib cage. In the center stood 3 Dravak elders, tall, armored, but not threatening. One spoke. "You are Malik Chun. You carry the shard." Malik nodded slowly. The Dravak continued, "You should have left it buried." Wu stepped forward. "You could have warned us." "We tried," the elder said, "but you did not listen. You thought we were your enemies." Elena's voice was cold. "You attacked our colonies," the elder nodded, "to stop your spread. You move fast, too fast. The hollow smell movement. Malik asked, what are they? Scene 3. The first HUNG are there stepped aside. A screen appeared. It showed a star being consumed, not exploding eaten. They come from the silence before stars. The Dravik said. They do not build, they feed, on matter, on thought, on memory. The screen showed Dravik cities, screaming mines, and then nothing. A long time ago, we fought them. We lost, so we sealed them behind dead space. Malik said, you built. The shard. The elder shook his head. No, we found it. From those who came before us. Wu whispered. There was another race? Yes, the elder said, and they failed too. Scene 4. Adil and Diarchani Cecilina crossed her arms. So what do you want from us? The Dravik elder looked her straight in the eyes. We want peace. The room went silent. Wu laughed bitterly. After all these years, now you want peace? Not peace for you, the Dravik said. Peace for us. If the hollow wake fully, we all die. Malik stepped forward. You need our help. The elder nodded. You have something we do not, which is hope. The Dravik bowed slightly. We offer knowledge. In exchange, you give us the second shard. Elena's eyes narrowed. What second shard? Scene 5. Secrets of EAR. The Dravik opened. Another screen. It showed Earth. Below the surface in the deep crust was an object glowing faintly. Long ago, the elder said, your planet was touched by the ones before us. They left a shard there, sleeping. Malik felt his heart drop. You're saying Earth is hiding a hollow device? No, the elder corrected. A lock, a prison key. Wu whispered, and we're sitting right on top of it. Alina asked, why didn't you take it? We couldn't. Your world is shielded in ways we do not understand. Vance's voice came through the cum. I'm detecting hollow movement again. They're regrouping. Time was running out. Scene 6. The Tier Warn back on Valor's edge. The team returned. The crew was shocked. Did the Dravik try anything? The captain asked. No, Elena replied. They offered something instead. She explained everything, the second shard, the old war, the hollow's hunger. Some on the crew refused to believe it. Others looked, terrified. Then a new signal arrived, not from space, but from inside Earth. The same whispering pattern. Wu stared at the data. They're waking up underground. Malik nodded slowly. We have to find the shard. Fast. Scene 7. Earth's Hidden Korea mission was launched. A deep Earth drilling team, supported by scientists, marines, and as support, began digging into a forgotten fault line in the Himalayas. For days, they drilled through rock, lava tubes, and crystal layers. Then they found it. A perfect cube, floating inside a magnetic field. It was cold. Silent. Until Malik touched it. You brought their scent. We remember your minds. Too much noise, but now it ends. The ground shook. Above them, something ancient began to wake. Scene 8. Earth under AT take. All over the planet, hollow echoes began appearing. People heard whispers. Machines failed. Satellites blinked out. A strange black rain fell in some areas, turning steel into dust. The shard had triggered a global signal. It wasn't just a key. It was a warning system. But far too late. The hollow were coming to Earth. Not in ships. But in shadows, through cracks in space itself. Scene 9. The Alliance Hoffelds the Dravik arrived in orbit. Not to invade, but to defend. Their ships joined human fleets. Together, they fired into the strange rifts opening in the sky, trying to close them. Malik sent a signal from the Earth. Shard 1 last burst of energy. It created a wave that slowed the hollow. For a moment, the sky turned white. The Earth held, but only just. Scene 10. The sacrifice PLN back aboard Valor's edge. The new plan was shared. Vance spoke clearly. We must seal the hollow again. That means both shards, space and Earth, must be united. In the rift, Wu added, but they can't just be dropped. Someone must carry them in, manually. Everyone looked at Malik. He didn't hesitate. I'll do it. Elena grabbed his arm. You sure? He nodded. Lyra gave us a chance. I'll finish what she started. Ending okay. As Malik suited up, he placed both shards into a containment case. The rift in Earth sky grew larger. The hollow were returning. Elena gave him one last look. Come back, Malik smiled. If I can. He launched into the light toward the rift. The shards began to glow like they knew. Behind him, the hollow screamed, and then darkness swallowed the sky. Malik Chun floated alone inside his shuttle. Behind him was Earth, blue and bright. Ahead of him, the rift, a hole in space, full of shifting shadows and burning stars. In his hands were two shards, one from the battle, one from the Earth's core. Together, they pulsed like a slow heartbeat. He spoke quietly into his recorder. If anyone hears this, know we didn't start this war. But we'll end it, one way or another. The shuttle moved forward. The rift opened wide, and then Malik disappeared. Scene 1. Inside the rift. The world beyond the rift was not space. It was a place with no stars, only whispers and broken light. Malik felt cold, not in his body, but in his mind. Voices echoed around him, not words, memories. He heard his mother, his childhood. Lyra's laugh. Elena's voice. Then silence. The hollow were watching, and they were not pleased. Scene 2. A broken RELIDY. He drifted deeper. His ship began to twist. Time broke. One moment he was in the cockpit, the next outside it. He saw himself as a child, then as an old man, but the shards glowed and the chaos stopped. Malik understood. The shards protected him. They pushed the madness away. Suddenly, a shape appeared, huge, black with no face. It floated like a giant cloud of teeth and eyes. A voice entered his mind. You carry poison and purpose. You bring the key, but you are not worthy. Scene 3. Trial of M&D. The hollow didn't attack Malik's body. They attacked his thoughts. His fears came alive. He was on Earth again. The sky burning, Elena dead, Wu screaming. The cities melting under black rain. Malik dropped to his knees. This isn't real, he said, but it felt real. Then he remembered something Lyra once said. They feed on your mind, but only if you let them. He focused on the shards. He whispered, I am not your prey. I am your end. The illusion broke. The hollow screamed. Malik stood up. Scene 4. The heart of the echo. He saw it, a swirling sphere, pulsing with dark energy. The heart of the hollow. Everything around it was floating broken pieces of ships, people, stars, and even time itself. The shards in Malik's hand grew hotter. He heard Lyra's voice, soft, kind. You're close. Just a little more. Malik flew toward the heart, but then something massive blocked his path. Scene 5. The first HFY was not like the other. Hollow. It had shape, form, purpose. 10 stories tall, black as night, with glowing red symbols across its skin. The AI scanned it remotely. Name unknown, status ancient entity, danger level. Mayxim. The entity spoke not in words, but with a wave of terror. I was the first. I remember the star's birth, and I will see their end. Malik tried to move past it. The entity reached out with a tendril of shadow. Malik pulled the shards together, and they burned bright. The entity screamed, You carry the light of the makers. The traitors, you will die here. Scene 6. The fight. Within the hollow attacked not with weapons, but with thought. Malik's suit cracked. Blood filled his mouth. His ship was gone. He was floating, alone, in a storm of pain. But the shards pulsed faster. He held them close. And in that moment, they joined. Light burst out golden and clean. The heart trembled. The hollow backed away. First hunger roared in pain. And then Lyra appeared. Scene 7. Lyra's Aritiran. She looked just like before, but she glowed faintly. Not dead, she said. Changed, you're here? Malik whispered. I never left, she said. I became part of them, part of the light. Malik reached for her. You can help? She nodded. But only if you finish what I started. Scene 8. The core. Sinom behind Malik placed both shards into the heart's surface. The reaction was instant. Light flooded the hollow world. The walls cracked. The whispers turned to screams. The first hunger launched forward too late. Malik shouted, Now Lyra. Lyra pressed her hand against the shards. Light, seal, restore. A wave spread across the dimension. The hollow cried out, and were pulled back, sealed inside the rift. Scene 9. Sacrifice. But the light needed power. Malik felt his strength leaving. He knew what this meant. He looked at Lyra. She smiled. It's okay, you're not dying, you're becoming. Becoming what? He asked. A guardian. Malik faded into the light. The heart closed, the hollow were gone, and the rift sealed. Scene 10. Return to Aaron Valor's edge. The crew saw the rift vanish. Silence returned. Earth was safe. Elena stood at the window. She didn't speak. Wu came beside her. He did it. She nodded. Yeah, the AI announced. New signal detected. Not hollow, human. Code MALIK001. They opened the message. It was Malik's voice. If you hear this, we've won. Don't look for me. I'm where I need to be. Keep the light alive. Ending HOOK somewhere deep in the stars, inside a sealed world. A single pulse echoed. A new guardian stood, watching. Behind him. A broken dimension now silent. The war was over, but Malik Chun remained. Forever. It had been 17 years since the rift closed. Earth rebuilt. The Dravik left in peace. Humanity remembered the war. But only in part. There were statues, names on walls. A few old files marked classified. But most people moved on. They had no idea that deep inside the stars, something was still watching. And then the signal came. Source: unknown type, MLIK001 encryption content. Help me. Scene 1. The new T-AIM captain Nira Hale, age 28, stood aboard the Horizon Dawn, Earth's newest exploration vessel. She had studied the Hollow War in secret. Her grandmother had fought in it, and now this strange signal, matching a 17-year-old hero's code, was being received across multiple systems. Her second in command, K. Rowe, stared at the data. It's real, he said. Same code. Same pattern, same voice. Nira took a breath. Then Malik Chun might still be alive, but how? Kai asked. No one survives inside a sealed dimension. Nira looked at the rift coordinates. Maybe he's not surviving, maybe he's fighting. Scene 2. Warnings from the PSD back on Earth. The signal caused panic among the old guard, the scientists and officers who remembered the Hollow. General Elena Ross, now older, thinner, and haunted, was called into a secret meeting. She listened to the signal. Her hands trembled. This is Malik. They're learning. They're changing. They're not dead. Do not come unless you're ready, but if you don't, they'll find another way. A scientist asked, should we act? Elena's eyes were tired. Double quotes, no. We should pray. But Nira Hale had already made her decision. Scene 3. The rift opens Aegean. With new tech and old warnings, the Horizon Dawn reached the old coordinates. There was no rift yet, but as the ship powered its shard scanner, something strange happened. A shimmer in space appeared. The old rift, still sealed, started to crack. Nira ordered, only send a drone first. I want eyes, not war. The drone entered. What it saw was impossible. Scene 4. The stolen DIMSAN beside the rift. The hollow realm had changed. It was no longer just shadows. There were buildings, floating structures made of memory. Stolen metal and forgotten languages. The hollow were adapting, learning, becoming something new. In the center, surrounded by a glowing cage of light and time, was a figure. Malik Chun. Alive. Eyes closed. Arms stretched. He was holding the rift closed. With his own mind. Scene 5. Sio and Tiasit. Drone sent a weak signal. Malik's eyes opened. He looked into the camera and spoke. It's not sealed anymore. They broke through other paths. I've slowed them, but I'm fading. If you're hearing this, I need one of you to take my place. Nira watched from the bridge. Kai whispered, take his place? Malik's voice continued. I'm not human anymore. I'm part of the shards, but I still remember Earth. Someone must choose, or the hollow will rise again, smarter, faster. I can't hold them forever. Scene 6. Return of the old Giriard. Lena Ross arrived via shuttle. Landing on the Horizon Dawn, she met Nira face to face. You shouldn't have come here, she said. Nira replied calmly. Then why did you? Elena looked out the window at the weak rift shimmer. Because I knew you would, just like he did. Together they watched Malik's image flicker. I trained him, Elena said softly. He was too brave for his own good. Nira asked, can we save him? Elena shook her head. We can only relieve him. Scene 7. A vote among HEROEs. The crew is divided. Some said seal the signal, forget the message, and protect Earth. Others said enter the rift, bring Malik back if possible, or at least honor his sacrifice. Elena stepped into the center of the room. She raised one hand. I say we go, she said. Not to fight, not to win, just to answer. She looked at Nira. He called us, and heroes always deserve an answer. Scene 8. The second Giorgian inside the rift. Nira entered alone. She carried one new shard grown from the data of the old ones. As she approached Malik, he looked up. You came, she nodded. Not to rescue, to relieve, he smiled. Weak, but proud. I knew someone would. I kept the memory alive. They stood together in the strange light. Malik said, the hollow are shifting. They want to live now, but they don't understand life. Nira asked, is there still a way to seal them? Malik placed a hand on her shoulder. With both of us. Yes. Scene 9. The last joining Nira stepped into the circle. The new shard joined with the old. Light exploded. The hollow screamed, but not in pain. In fear. Two minds, Malik and Nira, became one shield. They pushed back the hollow cities, the thinking dark. The changing chaos. The rift pulsed one last time. Then snap. It vanished. Forever. Scene 10. The Eligi AKY back on Earth. The Horizon Dawn returned without Nira. Kai stood before the World Council. They chose to stay, to keep the hollow locked away. One senator asked, will the hollow ever return? Kai replied, not while Guardians watch. The council fell silent. And for the first time in years, Earth was not afraid. Ending. The light be known somewhere beyond stars. Inside a sealed realm, two figures stood side by side. Watching. Malik and Nira. Not ghosts. Not gods. Just people who chose to protect when no one else could. The hollow whispered from the edges, but they did not move. They feared the light now. And the Guardians kept watch. Forever.